Hey there, thank you so much for joining us this evening. This video is Slay Your Remote Learning Videos. If you are making videos for your students, or if you're doing video calls with your students, or if you're just wanting to know more about making videos, we have got some ideas for you. And so we've got all sorts of stuff to share. We've got people that are already showing up, and we want to share your ideas in this too. So I want to welcome you to this Ditch Book chat that we've done for such a long time on Twitter. We're now doing just a couple more of them on these live videos. And so thank you again so much for being here. If you're watching this on the video replay, welcome. If you are here live, we'd love for you to check in and say hello in the comments. And so my name's Matt Miller. I'm the author of Ditch That Textbook, and I have a special guest with me today. We've got John Corippo, who is a guy who knows a little bit about making videos. So John, can you tell everybody a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Well, Johnny Carson said not to work with kids or animals, and you're getting both right now. Yeah. So Matt, I think you and I are both kind of adventure teachers, right? Like we're just like, let's see what this will do. So literally when I started teaching in 1996 as an emergency credential teacher, my principal said, "What do you want?" And I said, "I want to hook this big giant Mac thing to my TV." And he goes, "Why?" And I said, "I don't know yet, but I think it's going to be a thing." Right. So this is like 1996, right? Like, so the internet's still GeoCities and MySpace at best. Right. So I kind of started on that, and I realized that visual imagery is really powerful to human children. So that was bang. I was like, okay, I got a thing. And then about 3 years later, my principal came to me and said, "We want to do a special class with the 8th grade this year, something different." I go, "What's your plan?" And he goes, "I got a plan." And I go, "Okay, what's my budget?" And he goes, "I got a budget." So basically I sat down with, I had a volunteer class. This is at a public school. Who wants to be in my class? What are we doing? I don't know yet. We're going to decide together. And so basically we got one little blue iMac. We had a no sweat fundraiser. This might be the best thing your people get the whole show. A no sweat fundraiser is where people just send you money.
Ooh, nice.
There's no candy. There's no candles. There's no gift wrap. If everybody will send me $20, we're done. The parents are like, "Where do I sign up? Just give me the money." So we got one little blue iMac, and we got one little VCR, and we got one little Sony camera. And I grabbed my kids and I said, "Let's make a TV show." I had exactly zero experience with iMovie, but it sounded fun. So I started doing that in about 2000. And then I moved up to the high school level, and I taught film for 10 years or 8 years, I think, altogether. So I got a lot of reps on this, and I'm going to have some really easy, like cut to the chase, easy tips for people that'll make things way better.
Perfect. Yeah, that's great. That's great. So we are joined here tonight, John, by a whole bunch of folks. So I'm going to pop some of them onto the screen here. We've got Amy from North Carolina again.
Hi, Amy.
We're seeing some familiar faces here. There's Tim, a Ditch Book regular, which is great. There's Les.
Hi, Les. I'm hugging Les right now. Les
there
is a
you
good
go.
Friend. Les is
Robert
a good man.
is here from California.
Robert's here. That's so cool.
California people are showing up.
What?
There's Sarah from Missouri. There's another
Lance doesn't know if he's Lance or Sarah, apparently.
Apparently, that's right. There's Justin, another familiar one from Twitter. I had asked them what they're watching on TV. It was like, "Oh, okay. Where are you from? What's your name? What do you do? And what are you watching on TV?" And so,
Ozark, baby. Watch the Ozark. That's the show right now.
There you go. Susan, another one from California.
Yeah, I love because Corippo is my shadow name when I work there.
Nice. There you go. Nancy's here.
Hi, Nancy.
Very good. There's
Les is in twice. He's so happy.
Again.
Kimberly's here.
Hey, Kim's here. That's good. Matt is here. 3rd grade teacher from Michigan. Katie is like the Ditch That Textbook hero when it comes to the live feeds, because I think she's been to all of them. She was just with me.
I need Katie to follow me on Twitter immediately so I can see what she's up to.
Well, you know, you may be lucky. I'm pretty sure I saw this a second ago. Look at this, John. Look at this.
That's awesome.
I saw that in the feed. Yeah,
I'm loving this tool too. Tell them about this tool real quick. Is this like $7,000 to have this capacity?
Well, I can't say that on air, John. No, actually, no, it's not. I'll say this real quick because we're talking about video in this, right?
What?
This is called StreamYard. So if you all are watching this and you're like, "Hey, is this something you can do?" There is a free version of StreamYard. I've got the paid version, which is only like, it's like $25 a month or something like that, and it lets you connect your YouTube, your Facebook, your whatever. It pulls in the comments and it sticks them into the banners. I can do banners and overlays and all of that stuff. It's a pretty cool thing. So
I've never seen this before. I'm in freaking love with it. Right now.
I love it. I love it. So let me do some real fast introductions here from everybody real fast.
Hi, Katie Short again.
We've got Dylan from New York. There's Carly.
Mora. I know
yep.
Carly. She's cool.
Heather's here. Allison is here from Texas.
Is in the house. When you say Texas, I say brisket. You say Texas, I say brisket.
Andrew's here.
Hi,
we've got
Andrew.
A whole bunch of you. I didn't get all of you. I was kind of trying to click through them real fast. Debbie's here also from California. Lots of folks from California. This is great. So
why is that? I wonder.
Gee, I don't know. It's
What's
tough for
question,
us.
Matt?
It's tough for us out here on the eastern part of the United States to stay up this late. I'm an old man, and it's tough. So
we still have sun's out, guns out right now.
Yeah, nice. I love it. Okay, so if you've never done one of these chats before, keep those comments coming in the chat, and we're going to put questions up. John and I are going to riff on them for just a little bit. It's hard to get the both of us to shut up, but we're going to do it for you, and then we're going to be pulling your comments in just like that. So if you're watching this on the replay, the benefit of this is that you get all of these people's ideas onto your screen like this, which is pretty cool. So we're going to start with a basic one here. First question is, what are the benefits of using video? Synchronous live video, like a video call, something like this, or a Google Meet, or a Zoom, or a Skype, or whatever. Or asynchronous video, recorded video in remote learning. So how is this helpful for us whenever we do remote learning? So John, you want to riff on that one first?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you guys, if you're old enough to remember when Discovery Education was the only video you could watch before YouTube, right? That was the only thing, was Discovery, really. Before that was United Streaming. And one time I was doing a lesson on the Etruscans, and if that's not sounding familiar, it's not a very well-known group. And I found this 3.5-minute clip of Peter Coyote, Matt, describing the Etruscans. And I just told the kids, this is what we're going to be working on next week. And I played the 3.5-minute clip, and it was perfectly timed out. It was laid out. It was pre-planned. Everything was good, right? 3.5 minutes. And I swear to you, the next week when the kids opened their history book and it said the Etruscans, the kids went, oh, the Etruscans. And I was like, oh my God, this could be a thing, right? So my number one answer for that is timeline. You don't drone on. You don't get distracted and say, oh, this, that. You hit it and get it, right? So that's my number one thing for pre-recorded. Boom, 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 and I'm out. The second reason is kids can watch it over and over again. Give me an amen if you're tired of repeating yourself as a teacher, right? Like my favorite thing to say is, there's a video on the classroom. Watch it again. So those are some of those advantages, I think, like big picture, right? So I have 4 main points. Boom, boom, boom. Kids do this. That's magical, right? And then the idea of bending time and space, especially with what we're doing now. Maybe every kid doesn't. Hi, Corey Matthias, big freaking packets. Maybe every kid is not able to join you at 9 a.m. Do what Ben Cogswell does. He does the 6-minute video every day. Watch whenever you want, bro. I'm not going to be stuck on the screen all day. So if you're getting tired of Zooming all day, don't. Make 5-minute videos and tell them to watch whenever. So that's kind of my answer. What's that? Does that spur some thoughts for you?
Yeah, I'm very much on the same page with you there. As far as the recorded videos, and like you said, you know, lots of people are doing the Zoom calls and the Google Hangouts Meet calls and, you know, all of those. But if you use something where you've recorded it, it makes me think back to in the origins of the Khan Academy. Sal Khan has this story that he tells where he was recording the early Khan Academy videos. You know, they were like math videos for his nieces and nephews or something.
Right. Back in the day, they were pretty sketchy.
Yeah. And so his niece or his nephew is talking to him and is saying, you know, Uncle Sal, I think I like the video version of you better than the real version of you. And he's like, why is that? And awesome. He was sort of taken aback by it. And the kid says, you know, whenever I have questions, I can always go back and I can re-watch you. And so I don't have to pester you with extra questions. If I need to see something again, I can. If I need to pause it, so I need to think about it or do something with it, then I can do that. And I don't have to, you know, I don't have to like mess up your flow or anything. Right. So I thought that was very telling. Mhm.
That's awesome. Let me give you another quick example. I was meeting with a teacher one time, and he was like, "Listen to this. When I'm gonna have a sub day, I make a video of the sub plan."
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, "Well, that's pretty cool, but how do you make sure they watch it?"
Mhm.
Drop it into Edpuzzle, ask a question every minute and a half.
Boom. Yep. You're there.
And now what's your prep time on that? Nothing. So it's the idea of bending time and space. I don't have to deliver this over and over again. I make it once. I can add accountability with a thing like Edpuzzle, or I can split it up and drop it into 3 segments of a Nearpod or a Pear Deck. Watch this part, do this. Watch this part, do this. It's a little more work up front, but you'll be way better explaining yourself after you do 10 of those. Because if you think just talking in front of a room of kids is going to work, scores would be up.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
Yep. No, you're exactly right. So, all right. Very good. So that kind of touches on the first one. I really want to get into the next couple questions because I think this is where
we're getting techie, right? We're going to get techie.
This is where it's going to get techie and nerdy and all of that stuff. So here's question number 2, folks. What are your best tips for using and leveling up your live video calls? If you want to level up or just do the best that you can with them, with these live video calls, what are your best tips? John, what do you got to start on that?
My first basics are really basic. I'm going to try an experiment, Matt. So this is live TV. I'm going to try this. I'm going to switch from my boom mic to my built-in laptop mic. Let's see how that goes. So hold on a second here. Okay. I've switched mics. How does it sound, Matt? Does it sound?
Boo! No.
Let me put the magic back, right? Because you're going to get all those echoes and background sound. So I'm going to switch back to my headset. Okay. And this is just a $35 gaming USB headset. Good audio is huge. You don't, it's bad enough listening to your teacher. You don't want to do it with the dog barking and the fire engine and it's, and you want it to sound smooth like an NPR podcast. Good morning. I'm here to talk to you about wonderful things. You want that smoothness, right? So that's my number one thing is audio. So there's 3 ways to do it. Number 1 is if you don't want to spend any money, for God's sakes, at least plug in. I love Sierra in the background. We're doing live TV, Sierra. That's awesome. She's a video professional. She should know this. So I've owned her all night now. So so the first thing is at least plug in your heads, borrow your kids' Pikachu headphones, but have headphones. That way your microphone isn't fighting with your speakers. That gets away from the echo. Second thing, spend $30. This headset is just a USB gaming headset, about $30. And get USB. Don't get the kind with the little headphone jacks. They're a pain to set up. USB, plug them in and you go. Or you can do what Matt's doing. Matt's doing a combo. He's got the cheapy speakers. And what's that? How much did that mic cost you, Matt?
It's about $75.
$75.
Yeah.
You can get the super sweet Snowball for $39.
Yeah, that's a good one to go with.
And so now you're broadcasting and you're kind of Peter Coyote character. You're Natalie Portman, doing Island of the Dolphins. You want that sweet audio thing. So that's my number 1. And then my number 2 is background, like at my house here. I'm just kidding. I'm not at my house. Make sure what your background is because you're transmitting there too. Like in Zoom, you can do the virtual background. That's cool. But don't have people walking around in the back, Sierra. And you want to set that up. And then my third one is lighting. My lighting is a little better than yours right now, but I'm going to show you what I got set up here. I'm cheating. So this is our studio. Nice. This is our studio setup for the Spring Q stuff. So I have like big studio lights. But what I saw from one of our Connect people last week is there's a thing called a ring light. Have you seen a ring light, Matt? They're $100. Whoa, you've seen it. So you can get those for about $100, and you get a really nice lighting look really easily.
Here's the problem with the ring lights. If you have glasses, though, watch this.
Oh yeah, well I get that all the time.
That drives me crazy. See, if I turned around and I looked right at my ring light,
white eyes,
this would. So that's
that's
something.
Let them see the ring light for your lighting real quick, and I'll tell them another thing. Also, you guys be aware of this business right here. Don't be this person. Do not be this is called headroom. Do not be the headroom person. Okay. And don't be this person and don't be this person. You want to use the rule of thirds. Really, if you want to be really particular, you should be off to one side. It makes it a little more visually interesting, but now I'm getting super geeky.
Yeah, those are good ones. I'm gonna throw something
And I'm
in.
going to see how annoying it is for me to be this guy while you're talking.
Oh my goodness. I was on a video call with John earlier. I did a recording with Q and I got scolded because I was here and his video guy was like, that's not going to happen. So,
okay, guys, here's your math lesson for the day. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
Pretend like I'm an important person and take me seriously. These are both
that's right.
bad.
It's like trying to peek.
Or the up your nose one, right? Like, okay, you guys.
Yeah.
So what I actually do is I actually set my lappy on what is called a box. And that gives me a better angle. So it's straight across. I don't want to be doing this and I don't want to be doing this.
Yeah. Now I'm going to go touch on something that a couple of people in the chat have already talked about. Let me find Randy. There was this. Randy just said costumes and scavenger hunts. So
hi, Randy. Oh, I love that.
This is something I wanted to riff on just a little bit. Is the idea
funny hats are a thing.
That it's the idea that you don't have to just be head and shoulders video straight ahead to them. Like I'll give you an example. I recorded a video. I'm covering a maternity leave teaching position in my kid's middle school right now. And I'm going to keep talking while I go get this thing. But this morning I was recording this. I was using Flipgrid, their shorts camera, where you can just record little short videos and it lets you pause and everything. And so I was like, I said something and then I paused and then I did one of these and I'm like, I'm Batman. And then like it was gone. And it's like that little stuff. First of all, it made my kids just like mortified, which is half the fun. You know, getting to embarrass your kids is a lot of fun. But
I did a dirty trick like that where I did this one time. And I wasn't frozen. I froze. And then all the kids were like, what happened? What happened? I'm like, I was just messing with you. So, but you're right. You still want to be a character. Really good share, Randy. And hi, Randy, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Scavenger hunts to find something in their house. We just were watching a live stream from some YouTuber where he gave us a big long list of stuff and he said, get all this stuff, take a picture of it, text it to me, whoever is first wins. And I thought, well, that's pretty cool. Maybe there's something we can use with that. And then there's also this, Les was saying, I might need to invest in a green screen. And of course, Kim comes back and says, just get a green piece of fabric.
You can literally go to Walmart and buy the ugliest green fabric and you're in the zone. Yeah. Just buy the ugliest green you can get. But they have green screen kits on Amazon for $29-$39. It's not a big chunk of money.
I've seen some of them that attach to the back of your chair, and it's just
like an umbrella thing.
Yeah, pretty much, awesome. and that's it. Yeah.
The one thing I would say when you get your green screen is be careful. If you get one that's 4 feet wide, you'll have little bits of life peeking out on the side. You want like an 8-footer to get the full width. Otherwise, you got to be up in your camera and your green screen's on your back, and that's weird.
Yeah, that's cool. I got to throw this one up here too. This comes from Heather.
Heather another Marshall, one at Mrs. Marshall at CMS, one of the smartest people. She invented Game of Quotes. Oh my God, the best silent reading activity on the planet.
Yeah. She says we did a Google Forms, collect 2 truths and 1 lie. That's so interesting that you mentioned this, Heather. I was on a Kahoot webinar today and I was talking about this exact same activity. Maybe I saw it from you on Twitter. I don't know. She says, turn that into an instant quizzes game. So what's happening here is you've got this Google form that will collect the 2 truths and the 1 lie and the student's name.
And then it sucks it into quizzes.
Yeah, it all pulls into the spreadsheet. And then you can use that spreadsheet to upload it into quizzes to make a quiz game. And
that may be the hack of the year. The stealth Area 51 thing is people do not realize you can pull a spreadsheet into quizzes if it's formatting correctly. It makes it for you on the fly.
Yeah. Now, as soon as you think that Heather is like the genius, like at the top of her game all the time, and she also says my dog barfed during my class this week. So
that's awesome. And I would say that's mandatory video. That's my jam.
Yep, exactly. Okay, this is good stuff. Let's keep moving to our next one. We just talked about synchronous. Now let's go to asynchronous. What are your best tips for using and leveling up your recorded videos? John, I may start this one if you're good with that.
Roll, baby.
I guess it's my show and I can mute you.
It is your show.
So,
I'm out.
There, you're totally out. No, I'm
video muted.
No, there's a couple of things that I think really work here. I just mentioned the Flipgrid Shorts video, the video camera. What you can do is within Flipgrid, you log into your teacher portal, and then up in the top right, one of the tabs says Shorts. And all that is it is a camera that lets you record short videos that you share with your students. My wife records one of these and sends it out to her high school social studies kids every day. I just did one today with the maternity leave social studies teaching job that I'm taking right now. And it basically gives you the power of the Flipgrid camera, which is the coolest thing. You're able to record little short clips and do different things. That's where, with me, I was talking and then I stopped it. And then I put on the Batman mask and then I started it again. I said, I'm Batman. And then I stopped it again. And then the mask came off. You can put filters on. You can put like little emoji goggles and hats on yourself and everything. And it's so much fun. And so if you want to, I really think if you want to level up your asynchronous video, I think that's one real easy way to do it. And then I'll say the second one I want to hold for the next question. So that's one of the best ones, I think. What do you got, John?
So I've got two. The first one is I was watching some HBO comedy show about 15 years ago. And it was one of those kind of wacky Monty Python kind of shows. And I heard him say this and it was magic. Because this applies to teaching. Ready? We try to keep our skits short so that if it's bad, people won't turn the channel. Right? Yep. So when I'm going to try something new, it's a 1 or 2 minute activity. I'm never going to come out of the gate with a 30-minute activity, right? So that's my first one, just philosophy wise. My best dirty trick for doing recorded videos is I use Apple's Keynote, and I suppose you could do this in other ways. But what I do is I make a keynote. I'm gonna wait until you're ready to listen, Matt.
Oh, sorry. Yes,
I'm just doing teacher stuff. So if you've got Keynote, okay, or anything that slides up and adds audio, so anything where you can take 10 or 12 slides. So what I'll do is when I need to make something that feels like it's formal, like, hey, Matt, I'm going to teach you about mitosis or, key elements of the Battle of Bunker Hill, whatever. I'm just going to put one picture per slide. That's not a lot of work time. I'm not doing big fancy slides. Picture. What's cool in Apple's Keynote is I can save as a QuickTime.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Oh, shit. Sorry. You can bleep me. You can also export to GIF. Did you know that in QuickTime? In Keynote, you can export to GIF. So this is a good reason. If you have a Mac, you have Keynote. So I'll put 12 or 15 slides together in a QuickTime. Okay. And then what I do is I do the voiceover in iMovie.
Oh, nice.
And I can time it perfectly. And so it's my bad Peter Coyote impersonation, but my work time is minimal. My production value is high, right? And I just put those in and let them click. You can also actually record yourself speaking in Keynote as well. So you can literally, every time you click, the thing advances. Hint, that's how I did all my Apple Distinguished Educator videos.
Oh,
it's
nice.
super easy. And then that's probably my best trick. So I don't think Google Slides exports to video, but I think you can do it with a PowerPoint. So that's my super cool trick. Cool. 12 or 15 pictures on point, me randomly speaking, and then I make it fit, and I've got a 7-minute video, boom, in no time at all.
Nice. That's cool. The reason I was looking, I'm going to explain myself here. The reason I was looking over here was we did have a question that I was going to try to answer really quick. Someone was asking.
Are you looking over there?
That's where my other monitor is. Come on, John. Now, Randy had a question. Is there a link for that how to with the Google form to the quizzes game? I'm dropping it into the comments.
I'm going to Google how do I add a spreadsheet in quizzes, and I bet I'm going to win.
You do? You think you're going to? I
think if I Google that, I'll get an answer. I think that'll show up. I wasn't trying to outbeat you for time.
It's already in the comments. I got it while you were talking. Right. That's why you had to.
1 point for Matt.
Yep.
Okay. Fair enough. Not that it's a competition.
No, that's right. That came from the earlier video too. All right, let's keep throwing some other ones in here from the group. We haven't even
Jill
mentioned.
Plummer. Yeah.
Adobe Spark videos. Those are
Adobe
so
Spark
good.
is so easy to look pro. And that's what everybody really wants, right? They don't really want to go through the trouble of learning Premiere or Final Cut. They just want to look that cool. And Adobe Spark's definitely the right idea. The one I was going to share too on Flipgrid is people to do Flipgrids where they're doing it like a selfie. You can do Flipgrids this way too.
Oh, nice.
And so like when you were talking about the scavenger hunt, Matt, you could have people like you used to Spanish, right? You could literally say, what's chair in Spanish?
Silla.
Okay, so I go chair, silla, table, mesa. I know that one. Pencil, la pluma. And you could have them videoing all those things so they can turn that camera around too, because not every kid wants to be on camera and they don't need to be. That's totally fine.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to shout this one out. Every time I get a chance to sing Todd's praises, I will do it.
Guest speakers,
Todd is,
amen.
Todd's a social studies teacher from right up the road from me here in Indiana. And he's had a ton of guest speakers come into his class virtually. And of course, if you're doing live video calls, it's a great way. In fact, Todd just did one where he recorded he just recorded an interview with one of the guitarists from Matchbox 20. If any of you remember Matchbox 20.
I saw that earlier in the chat.
Yeah, exactly. Todd, I think you're gonna have to drop it into the comments.
At all right now, not at all.
Right. I think Todd is related to this guy in some way. I want to see in the comment here what it is, but he's had him before.
Extend that to say, if any of you want to bring in a guest speaker, the worst thing they can do is ignore you, and that's not a bad thing, right? Ask. There's a 50-50 chance that if you ask a person like a Dave Burgess character, you might have a chance, but he's not going to be insulted for you asking. He might say, I can't get to it, I'm just too busy. But I would say aggressively ask anybody. And guess what? The whole world knows how to Zoom now, apparently. So that's an easy thing to do. I would definitely be aggressive about that. You can bend time and space like never before right now.
Yep. In fact, Todd's a good example of that. He teaches this history of the 80s class where there are no textbooks for the class.
I hate to see that one. Andy
exactly.
He's maniac.
But he's had Malcolm Jamal Warner from the Cosby Show. He's had VJs like video jockeys from MTV, Alan Hunter and Mark Goodman. He's had, the list goes on and on.
It's just like sifting for gold, right? You're going to go through a lot of just gravel, but if you can get one or two of those gems, it changes everything in your class. So that's a big one. What else you got, Matt?
Yeah. Last question. How can we make our videos as accessible as possible? If we want to make the audio, and John, you touched a little on the audio earlier, but audio, video, file size, any of that stuff, how can we make our videos accessible? And I know this is a big deal for us because I live in the middle of nowhere in very rural Indiana, and our internet is not fast. In fact,
I live 45 minutes out of the gate of Yosemite. I'm not Mr. Townie. I got the same problem.
Right, exactly. And my 14-year-old daughter was loading a video from her math teacher, and it kept like getting stuck buffering at the 1 minute mark over and over.
Yeah. Oh, nobody wants to be that teacher.
Exactly. Yeah.
So John, I'll just run the tables, and then you can hit me with what pops out in your head. Audio, we've already covered, but it's good review. Get a USB headset, right? Number one, have a quiet place, have a good background. That's pretty easy. For $40, you can look and sound really good. Okay, next. And I did this on this. Turn the screen resolution down. If you're using Google Meet, if you go into video, it defaults to 720. Trust me, your kids do not need you in HD. I automatically switch that to 720. Sorry, to 360 every time. That speeds up a lot. Oh, here's my other dirty trick because I live dangerous on the bandwidth. If you got 30 people in a session, have them mute their video.
Oh yeah.
Have them mute their video. That preserves your bandwidth as much as possible. They don't all need video other than the part of Go Noodle when we're doing that. So that's another good one. Okay, video, I would say a couple of tricks there. If you want to spend a little more and go pinky up, you can get a Logitech webcam that's HD for $60.
Yep.
And you now have an external camera that you can actually mount on a tripod, so you're not stuck with that look. So that's another option. Like the way my setup is at home, I'm using the HD camera, and that's a nice one. Here's my biggest trick of this session though, Matt, and then I want you to throw one more random at me. How do we make our videos small? This seems like taking a chemistry class to an English major, right? It seems like crazy nutty. Here's my favorite tool. It's open source, Handbrake.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Handbrake.fr. So to give you guys some perspective, I made a video a couple weeks ago that was 400 megabytes. I don't want to upload 400 megabytes. That's going to take 4 days. So I put it into Handbrake. I just click on convert and I just slide the slider about this far on my screen. I don't know what that means technically. It's about this far. And it went from 400 megabytes to 40 megabytes in about 30 minutes, which meant the upload was only 8 minutes. Saving the world, bro. Saving the world. Some of you will make a video in iMovie or Premiere and it's 4 gigs. Oh my God, no.
Yeah.
No. So that Handbrake.fr, it's super easy. You just say, find the file, slide the slider, do it. And it pops them right out for you. It works out really nice. And the smaller videos will stream better for your rural students. It's really easy and it's really good. Thanks for verification, Nathaniel. Yes. Matt, does that make you think of any other ones as we start heading down that track while I'm in my category still?
Yeah, actually, I kind of cheated and I preloaded a couple of graphics in here. So I'm going to throw an infographic up.
Cheater, pumpkin eater.
I know it. I know. Actually, I got to get Nate off of there. There we go. And the banner. See how much of a rookie I am? Okay.
Oh my gosh, that is great.
This is one of the little lesser known features of Screencastify. If you want to use it to create screencast videos or videos of your face, what you do is you install Screencastify into your Chrome browser, and then under the settings, I don't know how easily you can see this, but this is under step 2. Yeah, you can resize the tab that you're recording. You can limit the resolution, and you can even change the frame rate, which is the number of video frames per second.
You got a lot of headspace in your shot there. I'm just saying. Yeah.
So I do. You're right. I do. So those are all things that are super, super easy to do with Screencastify if you're using that. So that's another one. Let's see if there's anything here in the comments. I think Nate says one more quick thing. He says by live streaming on YouTube, it actually uploads and saves your video automatically, so you don't have to go and upload again, which is pretty cool. So
I've got one other cool trick in that neighborhood that if you do this in your Zoom account, if you go into the settings, I don't have all the instructions in my head, but there's a setting, Matt, where you can push a button and stream live to YouTube and Facebook at the same time. So basically in Zoom, on the more button, you click and it says stream to Facebook. So for principals and administrators, that's money, dude, because you could be interviewing the guy from Matchbox 30 or whatever, because I'm old. And then you could be interviewing a person and then Facebook living that. So imagine that for administrators and things. Matchbox 20. Gotcha. Isn't that guy Adam, what's his name? Levine? He's the guy? Is he the guy? Or is that another band?
Oh no, that's Maroon 5. That's another one with a number.
It's one of those number bands.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, I just want to explain that one more time. Imagine that you're able to interview 2 or 3 people from all over the planet and stream that live to your classroom Facebook page or your YouTube. Yeah. That's really beneficial for kids, right? And so otherwise it's a Zoom. And then my last one would be, you guys, you're hearing about Zoom bombing. I would like to address that briefly, if I may, Matt.
Yes, please do. Zoom bombing.
Some educators are like, everybody's going crazy. Okay, here's a couple of things in your Zoom settings. You turn on the waiting room. Number 1, don't allow kids in unless you see their name. It's pretty easy. Don't share your Zoom link on the internet, because then you can get Zoom bombed, right? But basically, if you know the list of kids that you expect to show up, and then you're sharing that privately, nobody's hacking in. These people at these various city council meetings are broadcasting their Zoom publicly and then letting anybody take over the screen. So that's where the problems come in. There's no big hacking going on. People are leaving the door open. So I want to be for clarity here. Use the waiting room. You can even upload your own custom logo. Did you know that? It can say, while you're in the waiting room, please do some math facts.
That's cool.
Make the kids sign in by name or pre-agreed upon nickname. Like I'm going to go with Matt instead of John because that's your real name or whatever. And then the last one is you can set a default in Zoom that says mute all participants upon entry. That's a cool one. And you can also say whether they get to mute or not. And then there's another default setting that says only one person can share, and it's going to be Jimmy. So those keep that risk really low. I worry about teachers being sad about the Zoom bombing or freaked out. If you're doing those things, you're not going to get Zoom bombed. Hey, there's my boss while we're on show. Hi, Pam.
Speaking of Zoom bombing,
Matt Miller. She's Zoom bombing me right now.
I'm Zoom bombing all of you right now. Are we in like a live session?
Yeah, we're doing live.
Oh, fantastic. I can't hear anything that you're saying, but it's good to see you guys.
All right,
that's right. Yeah.
Matt's saying stuff like, hi, nice things.
Oh, yes, nice things. Yes.
Yeah. Move along, lady. Move along. This is not your show.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Well, we've covered a bunch.
Hi, Jennifer Goodman.
Yes. And she had some good stuff to share in there too. The question Corey asked real quick, John, did you go through my settings? I thought that was
Corey
a different
leaves everything open. He's hoping to be Zoom bombed, and unfortunately, none of his kids like him enough to do it. That's what
there you go. I wish we could urge Google to do things, but Google doesn't listen to us. But to get
Google
the same way,
nobody, bro.
Says you have more.
Thank you for pointing that out, Miss Walter, because there's an impression from some folks that the Zoom is this wild animal, but in reality, you're gonna have the same problems on the Google side, other than they need to sign in with their domain, right? And then one other good safety tip that I saw, and I think this makes sense: if you're recording with kids, if you're broadcasting with kids live, always be recording. And that way, if one kid says, Mr. Corippo said the S word, I can play the video back for mommy. So that's also a good thing. I would not suggest recording to the cloud right now, because Zoom is just not good on the cloud. So record to your computer at time and date stamps that you don't have to do a thing. You just push that button, you run the show, and 2 weeks from now, if a kid says, on Thursday, Mr. Corippo said that Mr. Matthias was blah, 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 you just play the video back. And that's actually better than in a classroom, right?
Yeah.
That's better. It's not worse.
That's right. Yeah. Too bad that Pam just left, because she got all sorts of shout outs here. Look at all the people that are saying hi to Pam. Yeah. Which is cool.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. Well, we need to wrap this up, because we've been on here for about 40 minutes or so. That's about our amount of time. So this is fantastic.
Short, bro. Not an hour. Right. It's not an hour show.
That's right. Exactly. John, do a little shout out to what you're up to and where folks can find more of you.
I work for Q. Membership is free. Q.org/join. We got some really cool videos coming out this week as part of Virtual Spring Q, and folks can see those live on Facebook, and they can see them in the future live on Facebook by being recorded.
And he does have hashtag EduProtocols there. If you haven't checked any of those out, hashtag EduProtocols, or just do a Google search for EduProtocols, and that may be the best thing that you find out about today. Honestly.
Yeah, and I will tell you that we have teachers going up 40 points on their end of the year testing, and that never happens. That never happens. And they're just blowing it out of the water, and they're actually working less than they normally would on a workbook to get that work done. And thanks, Aldo, for the shout out.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. One more quick thing here. Jill says, I found an unplugged coding activity where students cut out block coding from scratch, create a short algorithm, snap a pic of it. I make a video of myself acting it out. That's pretty doggone cool.
That's pretty cute. Yeah.
That's a good
walks
mic drop moment.
Hits an object 180 degrees. I love it.
Yeah, that is a great place for us to end, I think, right there. So this has been fantastic. John, thank you so much for joining the show.
My pleasure, bro.
And thank you so much for watching, whether you're watching on the replay or if you're watching live. Really enjoyed having you here. We're going to be doing more and more of these live videos and these live video chats on Thursday night. So thanks so much. Take care. Hope this has been helpful to you.
Ka-cha!